Hey y'all, Michelle Johnson here with Have Color Will Travel, and welcome back to my studio. Today we're going to do a couple of things. One, I promised you a tour of my sketchbook that I keep in my travel kit. Two, I also said that I would be going through a demo and an explanation for why I am really loving using the Multi8 correcting or checking, I believe, pencil from Pentel. We're going to do that. And then this is a surprise because I promised those two things in my previous video that was touring all about what I keep in my travel kit. I'm also going to be doing a little bit of an unboxing because I've been using the Pentel Multi8 for a couple of weeks now. I've discovered I had some issues with the color palette, so I bought extra colors and they've just arrived. So we're going to be talking about those two today, which I thought would be kind of fun. So there's an unboxing, there's a demo, and then there's a tour. It's like the video to end all videos. I will be linking the video that was the tour of this in case you missed it last month down in the description below. And then I'm going to put this aside so that we have more room to talk about all these tools. I'd like to talk a little bit about what this sketchbook is for me, because it's slightly different than a traditional sketchbook or than quite a few of my other sketchbooks. I manage quite a few sketchbooks all at once. This particular sketchbook isn't about practice. Many times sketchbooks are about practicing skills. That's not what this sketchbook is about for me, even though practice does end up being in this sketchbook. That's not what this is about. It is also not about making art. I know that seems kind of counterintuitive. A sketchbook is supposed to help us make art. And I do have pieces in here that I am very proud of and that feel very much like an expression of myself, which is what art is. But that's not what this sketchbook is about either. This particular sketchbook is about keeping me calm and true to myself and what I want for myself when I go out into the world, which this sketchbook goes out into the world. This is actually going to be the first time I've worked in this sketchbook in the studio ever. This sketchbook is about helping me maintain control over fear, anxiety, stress, boredom. I have ADHD, and when I get bored, that's a really stressful thing for me. Being bored at something, lots of things can bore me, and when I'm bored, I'm not my best self. This sketchbook helps me to avoid, or not avoid, to manage fear, anxiety, stress, and boredom. Art comes out of that, but the purpose of this sketchbook is to help me be the best version of myself in times when that's really difficult for me. So I want you to remember that as we flip through the pages, not because it's like, oh, well, that's not good art. You know, Michelle's just tossing things onto the page. It's not that. I want you to be able to see how it works, see how the tools are working within the pages, I guess is what I'm trying to say. That this is going to look very different than perhaps any other sketchbook tour I might show on this channel or that you might see out on the interwebs. You'll notice I can't get these clips all the way over. That's okay. I like carrying the smaller ones because they weigh less, and I just choose a selection of pages that will fit within their bite frame. It always works out well for me. All right, I had some technical difficulties. I thought I had the camera rolling. I went through all of this and a little bit more talking about how this pencil works. And yeah, the camera had not been turned on. So I'm sorry, we've already swatched red and blue for the Pentel Multi8. So this is going to be a redo of some stuff, but trust me when I say that this was fun to do. You just didn't see it. So to begin with, this is the Pentel Multi8 checking pencil, PH802. I'm sure that's important if you're looking it up online. I will have links to everything that I talk about in this video in the description down below, so don't worry about needing to like write something down or quickly Google. It'll all be there for you. I gotcha. It is designed, I believe, for teachers, for people who like to they use this in Bible studies. That's a lot of the reviews that I see, probably because using pen on really thin onion skin paper is not helpful at all. It has 8, like it says in the name, 8 different colors. Let's get you a little closer so you can read them. They are written right along the side of the barrel in a handy dandy way. So we've got green, pink, PPC non-copy, otherwise known as non-photo blue, which we will talk about in a second. It's not a typical blue, it's non-photo blue. Red, blue, brown, orange, and yellow. I think we started at green, didn't we? Well, we're gonna end at green because green's the best color. You'll see here it's got a clear barrel, and at this point you can see I've got the brown selected, and that is you're going to see in a moment that that's really important to be checking this barrel. This pen comes in, or this pencil comes in, a variety of colors. This is the one my son chose for me. I actually really like. It's kind of, sleek, stylish gray and black design. All of them have clear barrels down here for a very specific reason you're going to see in just a second. So we've got the brown selected. This is the selection tool. I'm going to make the brown come back out, or excuse me, come down, because this is a lead holder. Let me go up here. Notice I turned the pencil so that the lead point was facing up, and I believe if you were listening carefully there, you might have heard a click. We're going to go through all 8 colors. So I will point out that click again. This is not a typical pencil. It is a lead holder. You're going to see there's a hole right there, and these are tines. When you push down the top, it doesn't make the lead come out. It makes these tines come out, and that's what holds the leads in place. You tilt this pencil down like so, depress this with your thumb, and voila, the lead will just come out. It'll come all the way out if you let it. That's why you want to have your hand here, and then you use it to carefully bring it back to where you would like your lead to be. This is kind of a little too much for me. Too much, and yes, if you have a heavy hand, you will break the lead. But so far I do have a light hand. I've mentioned that in previous videos. But I feel like this is a pretty durable lead. So we did red and blue, and as you can see, it does, there was some color dust here, and so I wanted to see if I could make some gorgeous smudges with it, and I could. I like doing that. Not everybody does, but this is the brown, and I am writing with my general, handwriting pressure. That's not too hard, not too soft. This is general coloring, general pressure, not too hard. I'm going to do some medium pressure over here. Notice I'm rotating my pencil as I'm depressing it, or I'm flattening the lead. That's how I keep my pencils from not getting, and I'm sorry, I'm coloring pretty hard at this point. The brown is not my favorite one, and we're going to talk about that in a second. It's not as, luscious. I feel like this blue and this red, those are really nice deep colors. They do a nice job of laying that down. So I'm going to get ready to switch colors, to swatch out another color. You turn the pencil lead holder up. Press this down, press this in to press the top, and you heard that click. Notice now the barrel is clear. There isn't any lead in there. Now, because I know that I heard the click and that the barrel is clear, I know I can rotate the selection section, which is the clip, to the next color that I want to use. And it makes a click. You can feel it, which is why you want this area to be clear before you rotate this selection area tool. If you rotate it while you've got the barrel full of another color, you will break the lead. So I'm selecting the orange. There it goes. And you'll see my orange is a little dull. So perfect opportunity to talk about the automatic lump point that I have bought to replace my other automatic. I still like this automatic long point, and I will link the video down below where I talk about my favorite sharpeners. This is new. It's new because I now have, my son keeps getting me really cool lead holders, and you can't sharpen leads with a standard sharpener. This is a Coombe automatic long point, just like the old one, with the addition of these two tiny holes. Do you see this right here? Those are two itty bitty sharpeners. Those itty bitty sharpeners are lead pointers. Now, this pencil comes with a lead pointer. It's a good lead pointer, and I can show you how it works in just a second. Most of my leads in here have gotten dull from my last trip in the back seat of the car. It does a really good job. What I don't like is that this is all that there is. It's very small. It makes me worried I will lose it, because in the car, everything's a hustle and bustle. You have to have a place to catch the shavings. I obviously didn't do a very good job of catching them. And yeah, that's annoying. This is gonna stay with me in the studio because it can be useful for my other lead pointers. For the car, I'm taking this, and I have. So let me show you how it works. You have to be careful. You have to have way more lead than you feel comfortable having out so that it can go into the sharpener. It slowly sharpens. You have to, because you can't see what's going on. Whoosh, I almost broke it myself just by dropping it. You can't see how, whoop, there, that's a perfect lead. You can't see, because I use this all the time, and so you can't see what's going on inside to know how it's sharpening. So you have to pull it out and just play it by ear that way. So you see, it's a beautiful point. Orange. This is the right, and I find this orange to be nice. It's a nice bright yellow orange. This is just regular coloring pressure. And again, I'm sorry, that does shake the camera. And this is slightly more intense. I feel like that's a really bright, colorful, enjoyable orange. Let's go to the yellow, because I have a clear barrel, so I know I can switch. And it slides down. Let me show you how this pointer sharpens. Get the reds out of there. That's gonna make interesting marks. Colorful side page. There we go. This came with my set. So this comes with the pencil. It's loaded with 8 different lead colors, and it doesn't come with this cute little cupcake tin I didn't know what to do with. I put them in there. And then it comes with replacement leads. So these each have 2 2mm replacement leads of all the 8 colors. This is not white, this is the non-photo blue. This works like so. It's got a little place for your fingers, and you just stick your pencil lead in there. This one you can see how well it's going, sort of. Not fully, because as your shavings develop, you can't see them. Just can't see the lead. So that's getting there. I might want it just a smidgen sharper. That's pretty good. It does a good job. It's just tiny and messy. We gotta do this. Oh, that's fun. And let's swatch out the yellow. Yellow's probably not gonna show up great on camera. I apologize for that. That's the nature of yellow. But I feel like this is a good yellow. Yellow colored pencils, if you color, you know, they are notorious. This is even harder pressure. Yellow pencils are notorious for being kind of lackluster, even in quality brands. Here's our green, very bright. This is just my hand. Oop, that's really fun, isn't it? That's not how you spell green. I like the green. The green is a good color. Layers nicely over the top of itself. And this is with a little firmer pressure. So this is pink. Pretty bright, right? It's a good color. I was surprised. It feels a little bit drier than the other pencils, but it's still coming off with a nice rosy pink. Non-photo blue, what is it? Yes, it's a blue colored pencil, but it's a special blue colored pencil. Oops, there we go. Non-photo blue, And I use these, I used these to create quite a few pages in Feminism is for Everyone, a coloring book. And I'll link down my coloring books also in the description below if you're interested in my coloring books. This, a non-photo blue pencil, is a particular color that when scanned by a computer scanner is invisible. The screen can't read it. So many illustrators like myself, when we're not illustrating digitally in things like Procreate or in the Adobe suite, we do the initial sketch in non-photo blue, and then so it's kind of sketchy and you don't have to erase. You can just have a really good organic drawing session. And then you come back in with your ink pens, or maybe you're going to come in with color, any other kind of material. When you scan it to make it into a digital thing or into something that's shareable, non-photo blue colored pencil disappears. It does not get picked up by a scanner. It's kind of waxy too. I was just coloring with it last week. We had to drive to Dallas and I was coloring with this non-photo blue, and that's what inspired me to go looking to see if there were other colored leads. This is not my favorite. It's a little waxy, and not in a good way. It's just lackluster. And you even, it's dry. Notice when I'm coloring really, really hard, it's not making any dust. For illustrating, that's awesome, which is why it's in this pen. For what I'm using this for, which is to have this be a super easy coloring tool to take on and about on the road, this is kind of boring. So we're at the end. What do you notice? We got red, blue, green. That's not green. I am really struggling today with the green. Red, blue, brown, orange, green. That's still not green. Yellow, green, pink, and non-photo blue. If you're a rainbow lover like myself, what's missing? Purple! Purple! There's no purple. I found that really upsetting. And there is not a really good light blue. I was not a fan of this light blue. I also didn't see a black. I know it came with the brown. I don't really care. I don't care for the brown, and I don't care for the blue. I was surprised that I like the pink as much as I do. But these two colors, if I didn't have them in this pencil, I would never miss them. So I went looking online and I ordered, let's see, more leads. Did I need more of all the colors? No, I did not. But this particular set came with a black colored pencil, a purple colored pencil, and this is a light blue colored pencil, not a non-photo blue, and an additional green and a peach. So I'm going to have a little bit of difficulty here because obviously I can't take out all of those colors to acrylic. It only has 8. And in fact, I love this so much, I may have to get a second Multi8 and then have them be like, I don't know, make all of the colors that I want to have with me in the car and on planes and in boring spaces have the colors I like, but we'll cross that bridge if I get there. So finding this was really difficult. If you think that this is something that you would like and you're like me, like non-photo blue, take it or leave it. I need black, not brown, and purple is a must. This is the only way to get it. And it was a little difficult to find because this pencil comes in many different sets and iterations. Some of them have highlighters in them. Some of them have ballpoint pens in them, etc., etc. So let's dig in. You know where I'm going. I really hope this purple is satisfying. So we're going to take out the non-photo blue lead because I have zero interest in that whatsoever. Taking a lead out and putting a new lead in is a little finicky. Not horribly, but there is a silver dab or a lining here. I think you can kind of tell that it's silver. You want to take that silver knob and then align it to the arrow at the top on the selection tool. So you see that, and I'm trying to see if I'm getting that. There you go, there's an arrow. You want those two pieces to align. Once they're aligned, that unlocks something inside this area that we can't see. And you, oh, excuse me, let me say one more thing. You want the selection tool to be on the color that you want to take out or put a new lead in. I want non-photo blue out. I've got my lead pointer, or my lead selector aligned with that silver line. I open it up and it allows the non-photo blue to come all the way out. So non-photo blue is now going to become purple. So let's see, is this going to be hard for me to pry open as well? Let's see, I may have to stick my fingernails in there. It's a good thing that it's hard to get out. Then I select one of the two leads. Ooh, I hope it's that dark. That would be awesome if it was. Oopsies. Lots of itty bitty things. And again, it's going into the non-photo blue that I just emptied. These also have to be aligned. And then you take it and you insert it back into the lead holder with the button depressed. Again, this would be easier if it wasn't on camera. You want to put it in the area down with the silver part of the lead. And then you want to hear it click. Once it's clicked, you're going to rotate that little silver line away so it locks it all in there. We'll get the black in there in just a second. I'm too excited. I want to see how the purple looks. So let's get that purple. Are we still in purple? Yeah. That's going to be hard for me. Like, oh, purple is non-photo blue. There you go. So purple is down. Let's see what, oh, that's not bad. Purple. Oh, it's purple, y'all. Yay! It's kind of a cotton candy purple, if that's making any sense to anybody. Oh, yay. I needed some purple in this collection. I would prefer to have black to brown. So we're going to make sure that the brown is selected with the selection tool. We're going to find the silver line, line that up, and it's really obvious to see if you're looking at it not on a camera or not on a screen like you are watching me. Take that out. I'm going to put it in my little cupcake tin over here. There we go. It's not a bad brown. It's just, if I had to choose between black and brown, I'm always going to choose black. It's just a more functional, helpful color. Unless you're in watercolor, in which case, yeah, I need a sepia or I need a burnt sienna. Burnt sienna and ultramarine make the most amazing Payne's gray colors. Okay. Then to take our black, I'm very curious to see if this is going to be a deep black or more of a gray. Open up that pointer and you still have the silver line and the black line of the pointer connected. Let it click. And I'm sure you heard that, even though my air conditioner keeps turning on. My apologies for that too. Move the silver line away so it locks it up. Get yourself a bit of a point. Here we go. And now the test of the black. Let's see. Ooh, okay, that's not bad. It's a little crumbly. Let's see what it's, oh, that's a black. Okay. I'm happy. This is gonna be a more cohesive coloring kit with the addition of those two colors. That's awesome. Now, I'm imagining, if you're really curious, interested, the peach and the green. All right, we'll do it quickly, okay? Let's see, do we have everybody aligned? We don't. Let's take the black in and out. I am curious too. I'd like to know, because maybe I do want to switch out the green. So let's put you safely over here, little black lead. Let's see how light green looks. Too much. There we go. All right, let's see. Oh. Okay, y'all. Now I'm gonna have questions. Okay, I love me a chartreuse leaning yellow green. I just do. I can't help myself. And that's beautiful. That's okay, that's really lovely. I may have some decisions to make. Do I even need pink? I don't know if I need pink. I would love to know in the comments, would you choose this, you know, more vibrant bluish green, or would you choose this more subtle and yet still bright yellow green? I'm leaning in this direction. Peach. It's all right. It's a nice color. It's peach. I'm glad it's there. If I was to go on like a really long trip, so like an airplane flight that was like 3 hours or more, I might take this in. I might take a couple of these with the colors that I can't keep in here and switch them out while I was on a plane, so I had all the colors I wanted. But I am definitely not having any second thoughts about what I'm about to do, which is take peach out of the chamber and put in black. All right, here we go. Light blue. Oh yeah, I'm just writing with regular handwriting. That's much better. Oh, that's a light blue. It's not as waxy. Look at that. So let's put them side by side. Yeah, that's like a light cerulean. I like that. Let's try a little bit harder. That's very cool. So these were the first colors that I only had 4 colors that I took with me in my sketch pack, and that didn't last very long. I realized that's not enough, and they were not my favorite ones, the color pencils to work with. I first started this back in 2022. This was at a doctor's office, and I think you're gonna see there's been some growth this time I've been doing this. This was a hike with my husband. I wanted to figure out how to sketch with charcoal pencils really quickly because it was hot, and even though it was February, yeah. This turbulent flight, ballpoint of a Converse. I was super bored, didn't have anything to see. Not a good shoe, but it got me to the place that I needed to go. I was trying to draw one of the sleeping man in the chair, and that didn't work out very well. And that's Steve's ear. Again, he moved too soon. So I don't typically draw what I see in this book unless I'm out in the world. And this particular collection of pages is really important to me. So I did these pages that I'm going to show you on the 2023. This was just before my son. This was my son's 23rd birthday, a week before he was diagnosed with cancer, papillary thyroid cancer, pretty serious. And we disc golfed together for his birthday. I don't disc golf, y'all, but I brought my sketchbook. I'm like, this is a really good time to sketch rapidly, because when he was finished with a hole, I had to move on. So these are drawings that I made, sometimes of him. Here he is getting ready to, that's a tee pad, getting ready to throw a disc. I didn't get to finish because he moved on. This is, we were pausing. This truck was paused for a light while Samuel was doing his throw. This was, he was trying to get a basket that was over here that was really, really hard. So I had more time. Sorry, Sam, I'm not calling you out. But he took some time to get there. This is a long distance throw. And this is when I realized I didn't have any yellow, and that was really frustrating for me. As I said here, wish I had yellow. So I quickly sketched this. This page, this is one of my favorite pages in this book. This was sketching Sam releasing a disc on his 25th birthday. All I did that day was this, was the sketch of his body in motion with a pen. The day that was a week later, when we were waiting for his first biopsy, this very first one on this cancer journey, I was scared out of my mind. That's when I put all this color in here. While I waited, I added color to this life drawing of my son. And I think this may be probably one of my more favorite. It's not like the best thing I've ever made. It's not even the most complicated thing I've ever made, but it's the thing I've made in the last couple of years that is my favorite. This is the energy that he brought to his cancer journey, and he has just amazed me again and again and again. And this page is really special. This is done. I will never come back to this page again. This waiting room's really, really boring. As you can see, a combination of materials. I will probably come back to this sometime at another time and put more water on these watercolor pencils. This was waiting at a library because I didn't have a car and someone needed to pick me up. Another waiting room. I may someday come back and finish that. I don't know. This was waiting again in a parking lot because we had to drive my son out to do some performances when he was recovering from cancer and still playing music, but not able to drive for himself because he would get too tired. So that was a picture of a bus, a daisy bus. This is a blank page. I'm going to get back to it. Don't know when. This was a lovely day that we did at our favorite winery. I was trying to see if I could sketch something in 15 minutes because I knew that my son and my husband were not going to be okay with me wanting to sketch really detailed. I think I did a good job. And these ladies were dressed in astro colors, which was perfect. I mean, they matched, so it was awesome. More hospital waiting rooms. And I have discomfort sketching the people that I see. Not because it's like I can't do it. I think I do a fine job. I'm getting better at it all the time. But I feel kind of like a voyeur. And I have to get over that. I realize it. But I feel like I'm not sure people would be happy with me if they knew that I was studying the way that I am. Even though if someone did that to me, it wouldn't bother me. So it's just a little something I'm getting over. This page may also be done. So these flowers were done while I was doing a work event that was really boring to me. And I sketched the flowers that I saw. Then I added some water-soluble pen to the outside. These lines, these are waiting to get called for an echocardiogram that I was not excited to do. Sketching from observation. This is waiting to get picked up after work. Blind contour drawing. One of the most peaceful times I can remember. It was a wild rose. It wasn't supposed to be growing where it was. So there's a metaphor in there, and that made me feel really, really calm, really, really centered. Back seat of a car. We got lost. Everybody was stressed. That's what came out of that. Watercolor pencils. This was another page that I started in one place. So this was also, again, waiting to get picked up from my part-time job. There's a big fig leaf, and I decided to draw it. I was just drawing it from sight. Then at another time, I had to wait. I can't remember what I was waiting for, but I created a background while I was waiting at one point. And then another day, I added water to it in the back seat of the car. And then at another point, when I started, I think this was on a road trip that we had to take for meeting with the surgeon, I started adding lines. This is slowly going to get lines added to it over, I don't know how long, but these are the kinds of pages I make when my brain can't make decisions. But it can follow this line, it can follow that line. Those aren't big decisions, and that's what this sketchbook is for. Again, another blind contour drawing. This is a fig tree in the back of the place where I work. And again, a nice relaxing situation where I got to explore my creativity and be at calm with nature while I waited for someone to come and pick me up and take me home. We have to share cars around here. Blank space that will someday be put together. This piece is finished. I think it can get in the frame. I'm not even sure exactly what direction it should go. It's that kind of drawing. This was done over multiple card trips, having to sit in the back when I had my mom visiting, and it was a little bit stressful, This was when I first started using the Pentel Multi8. So you'll see, I'm gonna do it this way. You'll see some of these places look like there's watercolor been added, because they have, and then others are dry. That's the Pentel Multi8, and it's really, really awesome. I thought the pink turned out really great here too, so maybe I will put that back into my one of the pencils. Now, this is the way I go. This, don't know what's going on here. It has been a place where this is when you see me at the most stressed. So I was getting my watercolor pencils really, really wet, making a mark, and then doing a monoprint. Closing the book, and whoops, there we go, and seeing what happened. I don't know what else I'm probably gonna continue that for many iterations. I might come back and then add some more determined lines. I'm not sure, but this page that's what it's for. This is a mono printing page, and who knows how long it will take before it's done. These couple of drawings are really cool. So I had to go to a concert I was too tired for. That sounds really whiny. I had to go to a concert. We had a women's history concert at TLU where my son was performing, and I had to go, yes, but I was exhausted. I knew I would fall asleep. So my way of staying awake after 8 o'clock at night was by drawing the concert in the back. And it was really fun. So each song, I made a rule for myself. I only used pencil, and it was so dark I couldn't see to sharpen, so it was a really dull one, which is when I learned that I need to sharpen before I leave for a time when I know I'm going to be drawing. I only got one song to finish. I couldn't finish it. So this is actually my son. It looks like he's got big baggy legs, but those are actually drums. I gave myself like, I can only draw for the length of the composition that they're playing. So this was a very short composition, and I didn't get to finish. That's actually a clarinet. There we go. This one was longer. As you can see, I got to the dress. This was a duet. Didn't get to the second person. This was not a very long piece. Only got to the tuba. This was an even shorter one. Didn't even finish one of them. This one was a duet on a piano, and it was longer, but I was more fascinated with the piano than I was with the people playing because I couldn't really see them very well, the way they were seated. So that's what I did there. This was super fast. This was a longer composition. There was actually 4 players, but I was very interested in the tuba. So that's what I got. And these are the titles of the songs as well. It was a really fun experience. It was my first time drawing a concert. I created these lines on the way out to our New Orleans trip in the back seat of a very, very stressful, very trafficy, almost missing the flight drive. After I made them, that day when we were in the back seat of the car, I did just these lines. I did these lines. I did these words. I did these lines. I did these black lines. And that may be it. I prepped, yep, that's it. I prepped all of those pages. That's what I was doing as we were almost getting killed trying to get to the airport. I was just making preparations for myself to come back and work on these pages. And since then, that's what I've done. So the color you see here, the additional more detailed lines, the ballpoint pen lines, the fine lines here, those have been other stressful drives since I had that. Part of what this sketchbook does is that stressful moments like this give me something really interesting to respond to later, which would be great during, say, a boring time for me. Like, all of these lines have created all these spaces and shapes where I might add color or more pattern, and I'm very happy with this. I may come back with a darker permanent pen to make those words even sharper, but so far I think I'm really happy with this. This is a Pentel brush pen, one of my favorite tools. And how these lines look crazy, that's the energy of the back seat of a car on a bumpy road. This, again, Pentel brush pen. That's Pentel Multi8 pencil. You can see some of that. This is a watercolor pencil that I haven't added water to. This is slowly going to get added to as I go along. That's graphite, water-soluble graphite. On the flight, I realized, this was the flight from New Orleans just recently, I had never swatched out my Kimberly Generals in here and then done the triads. So these are just coloring down the triads. There's two triads in the set, so that's what I did there. I was trying out my Faber-Castell graphite, aquarelle graphites, and those were brand new. I just got them for my birthday, and I brought them with me on the plane, and so I was just seeing, you know, do I need all of them, or just does one pencil do the job? And I realized, you know, one pencil does the job. These 4 can stay in the studio, and I'll just keep the 4B with me to be my go-to travel pencil, because I like having water-soluble graphite with me when I'm in transit. There we go. This was our recent trip to Dallas to go see a papillary thyroid cancer treatment specialist. We'd never taken the toll road before, and that's what this says, toll road to Dallas. We had to go up and back to Dallas in one day. And this is kind of a conglomeration of all the things that I saw. You know, it was a perfect way to go from point A to point B. It was a stressful way to do it. It was a stressful reason to do it. But because I was listening to my husband and son talk, they were talking about things they loved. I was looking at the Texas landscape. This is what this book is for, helping me be my best self. And this was coming home from Dallas. This is, I don't even know what I'm doing here. I'm just making shapes. I was tired. It was long. We didn't take the toll road going back, so we were in traffic. And this is charcoal. I wanted to see how much smearing I could do. This is watercolor pencil that I'm eventually going to add color to and see what happens when it comes in. Probably going to add some more blocks of color. This is just a page. This page is just beginning, and it's there for me the next time I'm in a situation that I don't want to be in. And then this is where we were, all of us. So this book is non-linear. I go back and forth in it all of the time, and then forward. You know, if I've got a wet page back here, then I put my protector sheet between the two, and then I flip to a dry page over here. I don't let the rules of art get in the way when I'm using this book, because this book is not about making art, even though I do make art in here. It's about helping me be my best self. Someday, I will finish this sketchbook. I have no idea when, but when that time comes, this has become such an important animal in my mental health care. I have made myself one this is something I made myself that's almost exactly the same size, so that when I have to put this book on the shelf because it is no longer capable of taking any more art material, I have one ready to go. It's the right size, it lies flat, it's durable, and I'll be ready to take on what life brings me. I hope you've enjoyed this video, that there were pieces in here that you can take home to your own art practice, or you learned something new that you hadn't thought about before, or just got a little bit of inspiration here and there. Thank you for watching. Thank you for being a part of my Have Color Will Travel journey, and I will see you in the next video.